Hello YouTubers, these are my next project. They are Pioneer HPM-150 speakers and they are freaking huge. They are 15-inch bass drivers, 4-way with super tweeters on top. I got these ages ago. They're supposedly complete but in bits. I don't know how true that is. I've got some bits there. I've got the glass plates put to one side. I have the cloth sections there, and I don't know how well they work, if they work at all. But like before, with some previous videos, I will do this as a background project in between other stuff, take clips as I go along, and at the end stitch them together. Okay, first thing to find out is to see what works and what doesn't. As you know, the tweeters weren't fitted, they were part of the spare parts package. So I dug them out and they're not great. This one is beyond saving and this one doesn't work. But like in my previous video, I happen to have in my spare parts bin some replacements. These are also Pioneer tweeters. These are from the HPM-900 range. You can use those to replace these. They're not ideal. They're an acceptable replacement, not an ideal replacement. If I was living in the States where these parts are much easier to come by, I would hold out for those. But being in the UK, where Pioneer HPM parts are so scarce, I'm going to press on with those. These bass drivers are of note. They don't look quite the way they should. So I pulled one out and I checked the serial number, or model number. I don't think you can really see it there. And did a check on the web, and they are, fortunately, original Pioneer HPM-150 bass drivers. But I think they've been refoamed, and not with foam. This is something else. It's like a stiff material, and the fact that the dust cap has been replaced with a larger one confirms this has been refoamed. When you refoam a driver, you take out the dust cap, put spacers in, refoam it, remove the spacers, and put a newer, larger dust cap on. At least you normally do, and that sort of confirms it. And what really sort of seals the deal is if you look here, you can see it's been cut, and that's the new surround. So fortunately they are original Pioneer bass drivers, but they've been refoamed, or in this case re-surrounded. I've been listening to the mid-range drivers and they both work well. So what with the replacement tweeters, they work in mid-range and bass drivers, that means I have a full complement of working drivers, other than the super tweeters up there obviously. So I will pull all those drivers out and tidy them up, sort out the cones and stuff, take some readings, make sure they are as they should be. You can see there I've put some deoxit on the controls, they're a bit crackly. Now I've got access to the inside, I'll sort those properly. But with the drivers pulled out, that gives me a much better way of testing and fixing those super tweeters. They are notoriously difficult to hear, so with those drivers pulled out, it should make that job much simpler. That's all the drivers removed, and the cabinets, which now need a good clean, after which I'll sort out those crossovers, and the big job is to sort out those super tweeters. This one I will have to rebuild. I tested the super tweeter, and as I found in previous Pioneer speakers with super tweeters, they're hard to test. They don't respond to anything you can do with a multimeter, and you have to pass a signal through them. If you do that through the crossover, you're only passing the high frequencies through, and they're so high they're hard to hear. So what people tend to do, and what I did, was to pass a signal directly to the super tweeter, not via the crossover. And by doing that, I could hear music come through it. So it's a good way of testing them, but it has risks. You have to keep the volume low and do it quickly. But it's probably the most reliable way to find out if these super tweeters work. I'm midway through rebuilding the super tweeter, and it's at a good point where I can stop and test it. So I've wired it directly into a signal, and it works, but it's so faint and so high pitched the microphone won't pick it up. And they're finished. As you can see, they're complete. I even have the glass tops. The material isn't great, but I'm not going to do anything about that. If I was to keep them, I'd recover all the frames. But I have cleaned them up. Right, let's get rid of the covers and the speakers with the cloth covers removed. I actually think they look a bit better like this. Both super tweeters work. They look quite stunning. Unusual construction. The tweeters are replacement units from another Pioneer model. The mid-range speakers work. This one has a slight tear in it, but I'm not going to fuss it. The bass units have had their pressed in centres pulled out again, and they've been cleaned up. Both speakers have been cleaned. The cheeks have been rejuvenated. There are chips in the black vinyl, but I'm not going to bother fussing those. So we have a pair of refreshed, fully working Pioneer HPM-150 speakers. Job done. Until next time, bye for now.